Time to tell it like it is.
What's up, YouTube? Guess this is gonna be 2 videos today. I literally just turned the camera off from recording my video about the 3 black people out in front of the 7-Eleven asking for money. Physically disciplining your children. For some reason, most people think it's necessary to physically discipline your children. I know for a fact that it's not at all necessary to physically discipline your child. Perhaps this is something that has been instilled in us from slavery, that we seem to think that it is necessary in order to get the required results from something, or to render someone obedient, to have someone become disciplined in the way that you want them to be, that physical discipline is necessary. To inflict physical harm on the person is necessary. It's not at all. I've been saying this before I've had a child. You know, a lot of people used to say to me all the time, you don't know. You don't have a child, so you don't know. From the time I was little myself up until now as an adult, I still feel the same way. I've been saying it for so much, almost all of my life. Since I was very little, very young. It's not necessary to physically discipline your child. Oh, when you have kids, watch that change. That's going to change when you have kids. Oh, you'll know when you finally have children. I have a child now, about to turn 6 next month. I've never, ever once, never will I physically discipline my son. Not smacking him with my hand, a belt, or anything else. No form of physical discipline whatsoever. Not necessary. I talk to my son. That simple. I talk to my son. Now, a lot of people seem to think that that's not enough. Have you tried talking to your son or your daughter? Most people immediately shoot down the idea of not physically disciplining your child. But have you tried not physically disciplining your child? I've seen people out in public cursing their child. Didn't I tell you, leave that shit alone? Go sit the fuck down. Wow. And this child is like only a bit taller than my knee. This is fucking crazy. To talk to a child that way. To smack your child. I see people smack the hell out of their children in public. I've seen situations where the child is crying, will hit the parent back. Where do you think they get this habit? Where do you think they're learning this? From where? From your abusive ass. You're teaching your child that if they don't get the results that they want, then it's okay to become violent. That's what you're teaching them. That's why there are children out there that are hitting their parents back. Just like you don't like what your child is doing or saying or what's happening, so you hit them, your child doesn't like the fact that you hit them, they're hitting you back. My son, from the time he was 2.5, between 2.5, 3 years old, I started teaching him math. Since my son was able to talk, before he was even 2 years old, I would sit and have conversations with my son. I would literally carry on in conversations with my son. 9.99% of the time we're talking about his toys and cartoons and things, but nevertheless we're discussing things, we're talking. I started him on the right track to being able to, good habits of communicating. You are the parent, you are responsible. You set the example. You have to have the patience. That's the one thing, the biggest thing that I see. Most parents out there do not have fucking patience. You don't have the patience. I'm not saying that my son has been perfect. He hasn't. But I talk to him instead of physically disciplining him. Instead of abusing my son, instead of teaching my son that when he doesn't get what he wants, or it's something he doesn't like, that he can go and abuse people. Have the patience, take the time. He sit and he cry, and he's done this before. My son has learned, he knows now that he can just talk about things. He doesn't have to cry. He doesn't have to throw a fit and act out. He's never once ever in public been out with me and threw a fit and crying and acting a fool. He and I talk about these other kids. Over the years, he and I have talked and laughed about these other kids that are crying and having these temper tantrums and shit. We laugh and we talk about them. Look at that little boy, Daddy. He is he's a bad little boy. Look at how he's acting, throwing stuff on. He's crying and flipping out, and look, he hit his father. He's hitting him. If there's an issue, he can talk about it. I've taught my son that. I will say it for 20 minutes if I have to, and I'll wait for him to finish crying. I can't understand you, son. I don't want to. I can't understand what you're saying, son. When you finish crying, then we'll discuss this. We'll talk about it. That's how I discipline my son. When he's finally done crying, then we sit and we discuss the issue. Most parents do not have the patience to be parents. My son will spill something. He'll make a big ass mess. I don't go and I curse him. I don't tell him, go sit your ass down. What the fuck didn't I tell you? I don't curse. I don't know. They're children. They're gonna make mistakes. Again, it goes back to simply having the patience and talk to them. You don't smack the hell out of him, tell him go sit your ass down or some shit like that. He likes to walk backwards all the time. He thinks he has eyes in the back of his head. He likes to walk backwards all the time and not look. Of course, my concern is he's going to trip and fall, bust the back of his head open or something. He doesn't want to listen. He was upstairs in my room, coming out of the bathroom, backing up, trying to go out the door, hit the back of his head hard as I don't know what on the corner of the. Okay, my clothes are apparently done washing. Hit his head on the corner of the wall, trying to back up and go out the door out of my bedroom. Started tearing up, started crying a little bit. And I simply walked over to him. I kneeled down. I told him, come here. Told him, come over to me. And I simply explained to him, this is why I tell you all the time, son, to look where you're going. Pay attention to where you're going, son. Daddy loves you. I don't want you to be hurt. This is why you have to listen to me. Do what I tell you to do, son. Do you want to get stitches again? I know he remembers that situation. That was extremely painful. Do you want to get hurt? Do you want to continue to get hurt, son? You don't want that. No, I know you don't. This is why Daddy tells you the things I tell you. This is why I tell you not to do these things, because I don't want you to get hurt. You don't want to get hurt. I don't want you to get hurt either. Don't have your child hating you or having any kind of dislike for you when it comes to certain things, because they know when it comes to certain things, you're going to become physical or cursed. Me growing up with a mother that was like a lot of people I know, growing up with a mother that was all about physical discipline. She's one of those type of mothers that will beat you with any damn thing, anything. Extension cord, coat hanger. I got my ass whipped with a milk crate one time before. My mother was one of those type of mothers that will beat you with any damn thing, anything she get her hands on. I even knew at a very young age that physical discipline is not necessary. I didn't know. Damn, I broke that. And you're in fear, you're scared that because you're going to get the shit beat out of you because you made a mistake and you were playing. It was all in fun. It wasn't intentional, but because you made that mistake, you are going to get fucked up. And a child should not have to live with that type of fear. Why would any person that truly cares for their child want to instill that kind of fear in your child? My son makes mistakes. I help him correct those mistakes. That's how it should be done. This is something I had to teach myself, okay? Like I said, my mother was not that type of mother. She would beat you with any fucking thing she get her hands on. I wanted to be better than that. But people will try to argue that it's absolutely necessary to beat your kids. They will argue that this child is different than the next child. You can't do the same thing with your child that you do with my child or that child over there, that child. Yes, actually you can. The same way they learn all these millions of other things, they can also learn discipline without the physical aspect. Some parents out there may say, I have tried not physically disciplining my child. It doesn't work. Well, no, I think you have not put in enough time. You haven't put in enough time. You haven't given enough patience. Some children may take more patience than others. So much I want to say about this, but that's all I'm going to say for now. I'd like to hear everybody's opinion. Please leave your comments, share my video. Everybody get their opinion. Share my video, leave a comment, like it, dislike it. Please leave a comment. I will be getting back to this. We will be discussing this again. There will be another video.
Good morning, everybody. This is my friend Eli, and Eli is a true mathematician. Eli has excelled in all topics that we have covered so far in kindergarten. He is able to identify all of his two-dimensional and three-dimensional shapes, and he knows the difference. He can sort and group objects by common attributes. He can consistently write and recognize his numbers without any errors or reversals, which is very tricky in kindergarten. So very good job, Eli. The goal for kindergarten for the first quarter was to be able to count to 30, while Eli over here can already count to 100.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Eli loves to participate, he is motivated, and he always tries his best. And that is why I chose Eli for Student of the Quarter. Way to go, Eli.
Yeah. Subscribe to change, subscribe to being better people.